How you doing, Team Up? Hard News of Murdock. Just a quick heads up, there's going to be a schedule change with the uploads of the channel. It's most likely going to switch from Thursday and Friday to Monday and Tuesday due to a schedule change in my personal life. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been rolling with me for over these last couple of years. I'm up to 941 subscribers, and that's pretty much a large feat. I'm this close to being monetized, and I appreciate all the support and help from anybody who's been rolling with me and watching me grow over this period of time. Can't thank you enough. With that being said, let's get into this. Now, the 2020 election has been over for quite some time. If you just take a look at the results, it's pretty obvious it's a wrap. But that hasn't stopped Trump and his acolytes from trying to steal the election with widespread lawsuits and conspiracy theories of widespread voter fraud, despite them losing over 24 cases throughout the United States in a court of law. And at first, it seemed like there would be no level that they would be willing not to stoop down to in order for them to be able to try and steal the election, just to keep Trump's ego intact. But then on Sunday, something funny happened when they actually disavowed Sidney Powell, who was one of Trump's main lawyers who was spewing out the conspiracy theories left and right. And now they have officially distanced themselves from her. Now, if you've seen that and thought to yourself, hey, maybe Trump is about to actually concede, you wouldn't be wrong. Because as of last night, that process has started. Here's a report on it. There's a little bit more to it than that. I'll meet you on the other side with even more information. Take a look.
The agency in charge of formally starting that transition process now doing just that. It's a move the incoming Biden administration has been waiting for weeks, and that President Trump has sought to delay. In a letter obtained by NBC News, the administrator of the General Services Administration says she is now making available access to the services and resources, millions of dollars the incoming administration will need. Emily Murphy says she came to her decision independently based on the law and available facts. She says she was never directly or indirectly pressured by anybody in the executive branch, including in the White House. In a tweet just moments ago, though, the president says he's the one recommending the GSA move forward and, in his words, do what needs to be done. But at the same time, he says he's keeping up the fight against the election results and thinks he will prevail. More mixed messaging from him. Over the last 72 hours, more and more Republicans have put pressure on President Trump to concede and allow this transition to move forward. And just moments ago, the Biden transition is responding, calling this move a needed step.
Now, to let you know, the GSA is not underneath Trump's authority. As a matter of fact, Emily Murphy could have started this whole process about 3 weeks ago. So if you're wondering what the holdup was, take a look.
Begin tonight with breaking news in a move that has major implications. The head of the General Services Administration has finally informed President-elect Joe Biden that the Trump administration is ready to formalize the transition process. In a grievance-filled letter, frankly, Emily Murphy writes, I strongly believe that the statute requires that the GSA administrator ascertain, not impose, the apparent president-elect. In a statement issued moments ago, the Biden-Harris transition calls it a needed step to begin tackling the challenges facing our nation, including getting the pandemic under control and our economy back on track. For nearly 3 weeks, Murphy has refused to ascertain Biden's clear and decisive victory. Now, normally this is just a routine task. Her refusal to state the obvious, however, has held up funds to help Biden's transition and prevented him from receiving national security briefings. Now, why did this middle manager drag her heels? According to the Washington Post, she didn't want to be disloyal to the administration that hired her. The facts remain. The election was not close. 80 million Americans handed Donald Trump his termination papers. That's 51% of the electorate who said, thank you, next. The victory was so clear-cut that of the last 6 presidential elections, only Barack Obama in 2008 had a larger popular vote margin. And Biden's electoral vote margin is precisely the same as Trump's from 2016, which Trump at the time called a massive landslide. As the loser, Trump has 58 more days to pack his stuff and go. But instead of focusing on a peaceful transition of power or filling out change of address forms for his friend Postmaster Louis DeJoy to misplace or getting his luggage together, what we're witnessing is a cornered man making baseless claims that it's just not possible that he lost. The election had to be rigged. In a different time, Trump would have been shamed for his brazen desecration of our constitutional system. Instead, what we're seeing is the Republican Party helping Trump in his effort to disenfranchise many of the Americans he swore an oath to defend. In this case, mostly black and other Democratic voters. Late today, the Michigan Board of Canvassers certified Joe Biden as the winner of that state's 16 electoral votes. By law and by practice, certification is supposed to be a routine sign-off. Instead, the vote only happened after Republicans had a sort of mini hearing where they were told the obvious, that they had to certify, and one Republican abstained. Over in the courts, Trump's little band of misfit toys, the self-described elite strike force, keeps striking out. A Republican judge dismissed their case with prejudice, calling it a Frankenstein's monster filled with strained legal arguments without merit and speculative accusations. And in the wake of yet another rejection, a handful of Republicans are daring to admit the emperor has no clothes. Ohio Senator Rob Portman wrote, based on all the information currently available, neither the final lawful vote counts nor the recounts have led to a different outcome in any state. In other words, the initial determination showing Joe Biden with enough electoral votes to win has not changed. No S, Sherlock. And those who are not willing to join the rest of us in the land of the obvious are being publicly outed by famed investigative journalist Carl Bernstein, who blasted 21 Republican senators who he says have expressed contempt for Trump privately while refusing to speak out publicly.
Now, this report proves one of my points about Trump, because while everybody's talking about everything that he's doing in the foreground and the words that's coming out of his mouth, behind the scenes, he's over here replacing people in key positions with loyalists to him in an attempt to try and consolidate all the power underneath him. And as I said before, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden, but I sure enough would take the person with the libertarian tendencies over the person with the fascist tendencies any day. And with that, that's all I have. Like and subscribe if you like what you see. Remember, the revolution is unclassified. Later.